Hey guys, back here again today with a new review of... Oh, fuck. Hey, don't listen, fuck you! Hey guys, back here again with a new review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new collaborative record by SIA and... Fuck. Fuck off! Hey guys, back here again.
What's the problem?
I just hear you laughing. Hey guys, back here again with another review. Labrinth, SIA and Diplo present LSD, a new electro-pop album that takes some interesting spins here and there to really put an interesting touch on some strong vocals next to some strong electronic synths. And I have been gone for a little while, taking a bit of a break, and I've been kind of busy, like I've moved recently, and hopefully I can get back into making these maybe like once a week or so. Getting into the album though, it has been a bit of a wait to get this thing released, as it's been to the closer end of a year now since the lead single Genius came out. Labrinth still having yet to really drop his official debut album. SIA, apart from her last Christmas album, hasn't really released a full LP since 2016, I believe, and Diplo not having released a full-length album since Jack U, and that was still a collaborative project with Skrillex. So it's really been a while for all these artists since they really came out with something. Kicking off the album is the track Welcome to the Wonderful World of. It's not really formatted like a typical song whatsoever, kind of just going from start to end, everything's pretty much different. Really just exemplifying, showing what's to come on the album with a wide range in production and strong vocals, as well as some editing to the vocals that you'll see come into play very strongly on here as well. Diplo's creative production on this track is really the main draw here, as the vocals are beautiful and large and gorgeous, with Labrinth and SIA obviously being wonderful vocalists. Diplo kind of just shows that he's not here to just play around. He's really trying to make a kind of almost boundary-pushing pop album. And the follow-up track to the intro, which is formatted in a more typical way, exemplifies that too. Using more mainstream antics like vocal chops and large horn synths along with a big catchy chorus are evident here, but it's done in a much more original and fun way than you hear a lot of the time. Where, as in this song, for example, SIA's vocals are used as the vocal chop, but it's very obvious it's SIA. It's just done in a much more attractive way in the sense of how it's produced, not more so in just it being, oh, it's this range, this range, this range, this note, this note, this note. The fact that it is SIA's vocals, a part of the attraction, along with the fact of how it's repetitioned out. It sounds a lot more interesting because you recognize the vocals. It's not just a typical EDM, and while I do like artists like Kygo influenced artists where the vocals are just kind of sprayed in there and kind of sound interchangeable between each other, as the vocals don't really sound separate, whereas a lot of the time they just kind of sound the same. And of course, needless to say, SIA's and Labrinth's vocals do come through beautifully on this track. But what really shines through on this track is the closing drop on it, where some crashing drums come in and really take this to another level. The two lead singles which follow, Angel in Your Eyes, Genius and Audio, also fulfill this need of original chopped up vocal production. A little turn then occurs when Thunderclouds come on, which is a bit more emphasis on the pop and the vocals of it, with Diplo still having some electronic influence here, but is more just a regular pop track in a lot of ways. And for me, what I found to be the main draw of the song is the trading chorus on it, with first Labrinth and then SIA at the end of the song, with both of them delivering a fantastic vocal performance on it. Mountains does go back to having a very interesting vocal chop drop, but does have some really kind of unique styling to it, with the first portion of the track kind of taking a complete 180 as the chorus kicks in with a more electronic style, as the beginning is very soft and slow and then kicks into, well, typical Diplo production. No New Friends, however, it was the first track on the album that I kind of found to be a little weak in some aspects. Is mainly what I found to be not as intriguing about it is the vocals don't really match the production that much, as it seems like, which can be kind of hard to do with like large soaring vocals like SIA and Labrinth kind of have, to then pair it with production that's often supposed to be the forefront of what you're listening to. With like large singers like Beyonce and stuff, it's kind of common where the production on it isn't really supposed to be that grand because you're not really supposed to be focusing on it. It's supposed to be just the backdrop to the vocals. And so when having artists like SIA or Labrinth, who often can be that kind of artist where their voices are the main attraction, not really the production on on a song, then it kind of takes a weird turn where it's like you don't really know what you're trying to focus on because the production is trying to say, hey, look at me, while at the same time the vocalists are doing the same thing. And what I feel this album does really well, though, is kind of match the two and not really scream, look at me too much on one side of it. However, this track in particular somewhat does to me, as it's not really soaring vocals in the track. The production just kind of sounds like it's trying to hand it over, but at the same time, the vocals kind of sound like they're not trying to be the main attraction either. And especially with the instrumental part of the track, that just sounds kind of odd next to the vocals, and the rest of the track, it doesn't really have the same kind of vibe. The whole track just doesn't really fit in with the general mass of the rest. And just before the end of the album is Heaven Can Wait and It's Time, both kind of being polar opposite songs. Heaven Can Wait being very electronic and much like a lot of the rest of the album, while It's Time is a much slower, much like the start of Mountains, where it's very soft and slow, but it is a beautiful, grand song in its own, and both have their interesting aspects to them that I would like to listen to over and over again. Sadly, though, the album does come to a close with just a remix of Genius with just Lil Wayne on it. And I'm usually just not a big fan of remixes being on the official non-deluxe version of an album anyways, where it just kind of seems like thrown in at the end and it doesn't really present a good closer to it. And this is like the second time now that Diplo's done this, as with his collaborative projects. He obviously has a common way he likes to form them, with an opening track that isn't too usual, where it doesn't just have a chorus, verse, chorus type styling, and then followed by like 8 regular tracks, and then closed out by a remix of one of the other tracks on the album, just with a rapper on it. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of that kind of formatting, especially on an album that's already only 10 songs. Solid, fresh electronic pop production from Diplo paired with grand vocals from SIA and Labrinth presents something that is often hard to pull off. Although there is a good chance that we may never see a project with this trio again, I would not be opposed as to having another one. So in the end, I'm going to give this album an 8. So let me know what you guys thought of the album, what I should review next. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter in the description below. And SoundCloud as well. Why not? So I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good day. Bye.